It was a stormy night when Jake received a call from his old friend, Ryan. His voice was trembling, filled with terror. "Jake, you need to come to the old mansion on the outskirts of town. I need your help," Ryan whispered. Jake hesitated. The mansion was infamous. People said it was haunted by a spirit that preyed on the living. But Ryan was a dear friend, and he sounded desperate. Without another thought, Jake grabbed his keys and drove towards the mansion. As he approached the abandoned estate, the wind howled through the trees, making the place seem even more sinister. The moment he stepped inside, the door slammed shut behind him. A wave of uneasiness crawled up his spine. "Ryan, where are you?" Jake called out. Silence. A dim candle flickered at the end of the hallway. Jake walked toward it cautiously. Suddenly, he heard soft whispers echoing around him. His heart pounded as he turned a corner and saw Ryan standing motionless, staring at the wall. "Ryan, what's wrong?" Jake placed a hand on his shoulder. Ryan turned around slowly. His face was pale, his eyes hollow. "She's watching," he muttered. Jake felt a shiver run down his spine. "Who's watching?" Before Ryan could respond, the candle blew out. Darkness swallowed them whole. A faint, eerie laughter echoed through the mansion. Jake's breath hitched. He pulled out his phone to use the flashlight, but the screen flickered and went black. A sudden force pushed him back, and he hit the cold wooden floor with a thud. In the dim moonlight filtering through the broken windows, he saw a figure. The figure was tall, draped in white, with hollow black eyes staring at him. Her lips stretched into an unnatural grin. She tilted her head and whispered, "You came to play." Jake scrambled to his feet, dragging Ryan with him. "We need to get out of here," he gasped. But the mansion seemed alive. The doors they had entered through were now brick shut. The walls pulsed like breathing flesh. A deafening screech filled the air as the entity lunged at them. Jake and Ryan sprinted through the corridors, searching for an exit. Every turn led them deeper into the mansion's maze-like structure. Ryan suddenly fell to his knees, clutching his head. "She's inside my head," he screamed. Jake shook him, trying to snap him out of it. But Ryan's body convulsed, his eyes rolling back. The laughter grew louder. The entity stood behind him now, her long, bony fingers caressing his face. Jake clenched his fists. "Let him go." The entity tilted her head. "He is already mine. And now, so are you." Before Jake could react, cold fingers wrapped around his neck. He gasped for air, his vision blurring. The world around him distorted, the walls melting into shadows. Then, darkness. Hours later, Jake woke up, lying on the dusty floor alone. Ryan was gone. The mansion was silent. He stumbled to his feet, his mind spinning. He had to find a way out. But as he moved toward what he thought was the exit, the hallway stretched, twisting unnaturally. A distant voice echoed through the mansion. "You cannot leave." Jake turned, his breath shallow. Shadows slithered along the walls, whispering his name. He ran, but every door he opened led him back to the same room, the same dark laughter growing louder. A mirror stood in the center of the room. He saw his reflection, distorted, grinning back at him. His own eyes turned hollow. The figure in the mirror whispered, "You belong to me now." The next morning, a group of hikers found the abandoned mansion at the edge of town, its windows shattered, its door slightly ajar. Inside, only one body lay motionless on the floor, Jake's. His face was frozen in an expression of pure horror. The town whispered of the old mansion once again, but no one dared to enter. Those who did never returned. Some said at night, if you stood close enough, you could still hear Jake's screams trapped within the walls, forever lost in the darkness. As time passed, the legend grew. Some claimed to have seen flickering lights in the mansion's windows. Others swore they heard whispers calling their names when they walked nearby. A few reckless teenagers dared each other to step inside, but none ever lasted more than a few minutes before running out, pale-faced and shaking. One night, a paranormal investigator named Daniel arrived in town. He had heard the stories and was determined to uncover the truth. Armed with cameras and recording devices, he entered the mansion alone. Hours passed. The town waited, but Daniel never returned. Weeks later, his footage was found. His camera was abandoned at the doorstep. The last few frames showed Daniel staring into the mirror, whispering, "I see them now, they were never alone." His voice faded into static. And then, darkness.